Yo, what's up? So today I'm going to do a quick run through about how to basically handle like economy and Supreme Ruler Ultimate. This is going to probably, I think this works in 2030. I don't know. I haven't played a whole lot of 2030 yet. Um, though I do like it quite a bit. My PC just kind of sucks. To give you the basics of it. But this is kind of how like eco works in these games. This is how you can kind of uh, just a quick guide on how you can kind of cheat the system and get like a crazy good economy. So we're gonna start with the finance minister, right? Lock him down from doing anything. We don't want him touching any of the levers. I'm gonna turn unemployment, pension, and sorry, unemployment, property, and pension down to zero. You can honestly, you can set these to like one tick, right? And get like a little bit of money and like it's fine, but that's not really what I'm going for. And we're also going to set our overall tax rate down to like um 21% sounds fine to me. Then we're going to set all our social spendings up, right? So this is kind of the tax for this. It's kind of something you got to feel out. Honestly, like when you like just start, like setting it at like 50 or like 40 or 30 is not a bad idea, just so that you don't like go into default or something, if you're not playing like this specific country. Um, but if you're playing like a nation like the US or like Germany or something like that, you can kind of get away with even setting taxes down to like zero. Um, and I'll show you kind of how here. So in social spending, right, we're going to set our healthcare to recommended. We're going to set education to one tick. We're going to set infrastructure to recommended. We're going to set environment to one tick. I'm going to set family subsidy to recommended, law enforcement to recommended, cultural subsidy to recommended, and social assistance, I'm only going to set to one tick for right now. We might raise this one and education later on, right? Once the economy is kind of settled in, but we're not going to really have enough money to pay for those, and they don't really do a whole lot, right? Education, what it's going to do for you is, as well as increasing inflation, GDP per capita. I'm not quite sure on the effects it has on domestic approval rating, if any. But I do think it increases research efficiency, but that's not a huge deal. You're going to have plenty of research efficiency when you turn up the research spending. So this isn't really a big deal. So again, right, recommended, one tick, recommended, one tick, recommended, 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 one tick, right? And a tick is just like using your arrow keys to just put the basically the 1%, like the minimum amount of spending you can put in. Because you're always going to get like kind of a base quality rating, so you always want to make sure these have like at least like 1% funding, basically, right? Um, and so that's how we're going to set up our finance tab. Next, we're going to go over to resources. This is where like a lot of the economy is. And first off, we're going to lock everything. We don't want our advisor touching any of these. We want this to be under like our management, right? And then what we're going to go is we're going to go through each domestic good, right? And we're going to set domestic price to maximum. So your agriculture, your timber, your petroleum, your electricity, and your consumer goods, right? We're going to set the domestic prices up to maximum. You can lower these if you want, um, but honestly, like, yeah, set the domestic price to maximum. Um, and that's going to get you nice and set up. Next, for goods that we want to trade, right? Goods that we want to sell, um, we're going to want to go here to consumer goods, right? Minimum price to a unit, right? I know that no matter what, like our production costs are probably never going to outstrip the market price for this. Just kind of how consumer goods work. So obviously we're going to set this down. It doesn't matter what you set this to. You just want it to be low so that your AI knows to sell it. Right? Agriculture is profitable and we make a ton of it, so we're going to sell it. Rubber is not profitable, so we don't want to actually sell any of this. Um, so we're actually going to just turn off selling surplus production on rubber. We don't want to sell it right now. I'd rather stockpile it for mill goods. Um, Timber, yeah, we're gonna want to sell this. Petroleum, again, that's something we really, as Russia, you really want to sell. So we're gonna set the minimum price like whatever 14, that's fine. Coal, that's another good that we're going to want to sell at least at the start. um we can always change these later too, like if you like notice that your income's not looking good, you can definitely like switch it around. Uranium, we're not going to sell any uranium right at the start. because I want to make sure we keep that. Electricity, we want to set the minimum price to a unit like as low as possible because you can't keep it. You can't keep the extra electricity you make. So even if the production cost is higher than the market cost, like um, you're gonna still probably want to sell it. You could change industry controls to just be um, towards like demand, right? But demand's gonna probably fluctuate for you quite a bit, especially towards like the start of the game, and as things go on. So again, I just like to just max it out, and you're probably always going to be profitable on it anyway for most of the game, any for most of the time, and in most nations. So definitely keep that on. Um, like I said, consumer goods, we're doing fine on those. We want to make sure we're selling those. I'm actually going to turn up the minimum price for a unit on industrial goods because we actually want to stockpile these a little bit. I know we already have 2 million, but when you go into like building a bunch of buildings, you want to make sure you have a good stockpile of it. And same with military goods, we're actually going to make sure that like keep the minimum price per unit really high so that we don't actually sell them because we're going to want to stockpile those a little bit because, when we plan to go to war, we're going to want a lot of military goods, also for building units and that sort of thing. Um, Next, you can go into research, right? I'm just going to lock this guy out of everything. I don't want him doing anything. I'm going to turn research efficiency all the way up. And then, like, just research, like, blah, 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 blah. Just put a bunch of text on it. It doesn't matter. Um, just for demonstration. Next, like go over to like military. I sometimes do auto build, right? But you know what? Sure, we'll put on full auto build, and we'll put him on arms race and offensive military, so he builds like tanks that are modern and don't suck. We're also gonna turn the initiative like down because we're not at war. So we really don't want to like have like higher initiative. I'm gonna keep these at kind of their base levels. I'm gonna lock my advisor from garrison control and from military spending. I don't want him making a bunch of garrisons everywhere, and I don't want him spending a bunch of money on stuff he doesn't need, right? Um, though I don't know how that works with auto build, but that's not a huge issue. And yeah, everything here is fine. For like what tab is it? Yeah, yeah, for state funding, right? In Ultimate, like you can set these to 0. In 2030, you cannot. These numbers actually matter. But in Ultimate, like there's really not like a huge effect from it. Let me turn off weather because I can feel it. So like, you can sit there and do your like oppose governments, and it says it costs money. If you set your state funding to nothing, it doesn't, and this will let you build up your casus belli and all that. So this is kind of like a basic like setup for like the economy, right? And so you'll see like when I unpause here, um, we'll just kind of let like a day pass just to show if it's working. You'll know you screwed up if you instantly lose all your money. Um, but yeah, you can see like we're gaining money right now. Our GDP per capita is going up, and so is our inflation, just kind of naturally. But the economy's functioning pretty decently. Um, yeah, it looks like we're making money right now. I might have to turn up taxes slightly. Like I said, you can make like little adjustments as you kind of go. Um, and if I wanted to like sell more goods, like we definitely could. You can also like um turn these like change these around so like you don't buy goods that you don't necessarily want. Usually for like core goods though that I know I'm gonna need, like I'll turn this up to like buy as needed up to this amount because we're gonna need it to build shit. But um, as you can see, like yeah, we're making money, the economy's doing fine, and like our GDP is going up, and we're just chilling. And you can just go ahead and build like some buildings and all that, get yourself nice and set up. Um, like I said, right now we're building a ton of units. If you find that you can't afford it, like don't build as many units probably. Like we've got it on full blast production for the most part, and it seems to be running just fine. So that's what I would recommend. As you can see, our domestic approval rating has tanked, right? It's going to go down a ton, and that's going to really hurt your economy, right? Because you got to wait for your social spending to catch up, um, which just takes a little bit of time. But once your social spending catches up, your domestic approval rating is going to, start to creep back up, and you're going to be able to really make use of like the increased demand from that. So that's kind of like my basic kind of economy guide to this game. And yeah, that's it. See ya.